homes that we design are quite substantial in size. And a common challenge that we find is that people do multiple garages. So generally between 4 and 6 garages, up to 8 garages. And it becomes quite a challenge for us how to balance it without it looking like you arriving at a warehouse with just parking garages on the one side. What we do is we try and split that up in a delicate way so that when you arrive, that it creates almost a balance. We're not necessarily looking for symmetry, but we're looking for balance. And then what we do is we play that off with a beautiful porte-cochere that projects out to the front. So by doing that, you get this sense of arrival, you get this balance that you get in the background with the garages, and that symmetrically frames your entrance. And from there, it's a beautiful progression from there. As you arrive under the porte-cochere, which we love to do as a volume and a half, so it gives you that very nice voluminous effect that we had spoken about previously, so that you don't get so much penetration with the elements into that area. You actually have a covered drop-off area, and then from there you can then beautifully proceed into the home that actually opens the house up to you as you go through the entrance. The home reveals itself through the doors. As we come through the entrance, we like the home to reveal itself. So we love that open, voluminous feel. So in this particular house, we actually draw your eye through the entrance volume to an area at the back, which I refer to as our Hollywood Boulevard. But let me first talk about the entrance and what we did in there, and then we'll proceed through to that area. As we arrive, we have got a double volume with a curved staircase that sweeps around the front as you enter, so you get that beautiful view as you arrive with the staircase leading you up towards the top. Because we're not trying to get you to go up the staircase doesn't necessarily need to front you. If the staircase fronts you, it feels like you want to walk upstairs, but you don't. So that it generally leads you to a private space. So we want that area to look inviting, but it's not necessary for it to face you directly. By giving it the entrance that is slightly off to the side, you understand that it leads to a more private area, and we are actually emphasizing that sweep of the staircase and the beauty of that dynamic staircase that goes up to the top. We love to do staircases, we love to do curved staircases just because they are so dynamic, and it's a beautiful thing to look at, and generally they are statements in itself, and it becomes almost like a piece of art in that entrance. So we spend a lot of design energy on our staircases, on our lobbies, and actually creating that wow effect when you arrive. For me, that is so paramount that when you enter, you need to say wow. It needs to open the house to you, it needs to be light, it needs to be airy, it needs to be bright, it needs to have a connection to the outside, so that it feels like you can experience the house from in and outside. So these are just different things. And also with the staircase in the lobby, it immediately opens up a double volume, and also like a balcony view where at the top you look down onto that entrance. So you can experience that entrance volume from various positions, from the bottom looking up, and obviously for the users at the top looking down into that area. Speaking about the light and airiness, in this particular home, the north was actually at an oblique angle, and the challenge when you just position all the rooms to face towards the north, you get very long passages that form, and it becomes quite complicated in how you string the spaces together without creating unnecessary passages within that space, because passages effectively is not a good way of connecting spaces together. You want spatial flow and not a passage leading from space to space. So in this particular home, what we actually did is we did a V-shaped designed home. So the home is designed in a V, and the longer sections of the V on the one side faces directly north, and the shorter side, we have stepped and staggered that area so that you get selected northern light into some of those spaces while they are looking out into the same common space as what the northern facing section is looking. So in that area, it creates a great opportunity for us to do a feature in there, and this is what I was referring to earlier as our Hollywood Boulevard look. When you arrive in the entrance, you will actually be drawn through the entrance lobby with this Hollywood Boulevard feel, palm trees with a water feature that runs in the center. So it kind of leads your eyes actually down, with it being framed with the palm trees on both sides. So we anticipate that this will be a stunning feature. And the stand is quite deep, so it actually reduces some of that depth of view that we've got. So it actually leads you up to a certain point where after it leaves you for your own view, into the rest of the yard. Something that is very important for us is obviously spatial flow. The design of the home is obviously paramount. The way that the spaces flow from one to the other, the spaces that you need to have private, how they are created more private, and the spaces that you want open, how do you create that flow without making the spaces feel too large. So this is where I was saying that we look at how do we blur the boundaries from inside to outside. In this particular home, the client wanted quite a formal dining area that he wanted to let go out onto your covered patio. So what we did is, as you enter, we have got a beautiful wine display wall out of glass that actually screens your views into the dining area. So it'll filter your view into that area, because you will still have some view through the bottles and that display that we have created in there, but it gives you that definition of privacy within that particular space. And then what we've done is we've created sliding doors that can actually open up completely, so that space can then completely integrate with your covered patio as well. And then in this particular one, we have actually put the kitchen directly across from your covered patio. So the spatial flow from your kitchen, entertaining and serving that area out towards your covered patio, combined with the dining area that opens up, you get a beautiful area that actually works together. It flows, and you can have a beautiful function there, serving all of the spaces and viewing all of the spaces together without creating a space which just feels like a big hall. This is much like the home that we had shown you in last week, where once again we're trying to blur that boundary in to out, so you can utilize the spaces on its own, and then you can also utilize the spaces in conjunction with each other, where the spaces become big and you blur that boundary from what is inside, what is outside. We've got such a beautiful climate, and exploring and exploiting that is actually very important for us architecturally. this design analogy that we've got in utilizing the in and outside spaces and how you use them in conjunction with others, still keeping the spaces private, but still being able to open up those spaces when one entertains. We've utilized the same concept in the next design, which I'll share with you. However, we've done it in a completely different way. Thanks a lot for watching to this point. If you've enjoyed it, please give us a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to view all of our new content. See you on the next one.